So it's June 9th and I am making sauna whisks, or also called the Russian Venik. These are little brooms that we make with oak or birch primarily. Some people use linden. I'm actually experimenting with little leaf elm. So this one a little bit. I know these leaves hold on good. It's definitely a different texture and feel to this. This is oak. So when you dunk these in water and let them sit, these leaves really soften up, and sprinkle it on people, and then it's a really cool massage and process in the sauna versus just sitting there and sweating. So in making these, I am just using a twine after I separate. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little branches. And this is about the right size. People will make them a little bit bigger because undoubtedly when you use these in the sauna, these leaves will fall off. Now keep in mind, it does make a big mess in the sauna too, but the best thing to do afterwards is let the leaves dry out. Then you can broom them up or blow them out of your hot room. So I'm just winding these. This twine is super cheap. I have a huge spool of it. I'll probably be able to do like 50 of these if I wanted to. But the best time to harvest this stuff is in the spring, where the leaves are soft and they're you know, on there good. There's no chance of them falling off. The petioles are strong where they connect to the leaf. So at this point, right here, that's what you want strong for. And I know in our climate, after being in the landscape industry for 30 plus years, that ash are one of the first to drop. So with that, probably not be a good one. Oaks are one of the last to drop, so that tells you, you know, there's good strength in those leaves holding on. Birch also. Birch has a nice soft leaf as it is. But what I'm doing basically, you can tie these off, but when I'm done, I just interweave these in these back stems. That's why I leave myself a little bit. And then cut it off. And then these will hang to dry somewhere, okay? So that's what it looks like, okay? So I'll show you again the process. When you're cutting branches, you want to rip off the bottom portion. And if branches are going out a lot, take those off. Sometimes you can reattach them in the bundle, but with birch, I have a lot, so. I also like a straight handle. See how this is bent? So I have pruners here too. See how there's one nice straight one, these are going off to the side. Some of that's okay. This doesn't have to be a perfect science. Now I lay this down here. So that's what you want to get. See how these leaves are kind of glossy? That's young growth. So that's going to be the softest leaves. So that's 2. That's 3. That's kind of like a baby one. So I'll line it up at the tip. And you see how I have these ends are uneven? You can do it at the end or whatever. So now you just cut them off and make them even like that. What? I'm in the middle of this with the video rolling, so hold on. I just gotta start the winding process and then I can head back there. Well, you didn't run into anything, did you?
No.
Okay.
You want me to? You can just do this with me.
Yeah, well, I think you can do that when you edit too. So these are nice and straight, it's just that there's not a lot to that branch. Otherwise you're doing this and, you know, forever. This one has a few on it though. It's quite relaxing to do this too. Definitely need a lot more birch for a whisk than oak. But we did get a nice stash. You know, this is just doing pruning essentially. So if you think of it, you see how woody this one is? Or thicker that wood is, and this branch really isn't anything uniform. So you don't necessarily want to hit somebody hard with a longer, a wider stick. A lot of this is small. But the ones that I've seen, they do that. They do make them with these really small branches. I don't have a lot of experience in this, and some people, if you talk to from like Eastern Europe and Russia, will have a very specific process for it. But here it is so far. Where it's really wild, you know, we can prune some of that side stuff off, but I still think this is not quite big enough. I got a few more pieces in front of me that I can use. I've seen people charge for these either at the spa, you know, if you want this type of massage during your sauna, you know, you can purchase a session with a, I don't know what you call them, sauna master or something. And they will perform this on you on a few sessions, and they may charge upwards of $25 just for this whisk. For me, that's ridiculous, but for the convenience of not having to go through all this, I guess that's what you have to do if you want it. Okay. So anyways, I'm back to that process of when you saw me finish wrapping up the oak. So now what I'll do here is I'll just put it between my legs like this, and I will start, wow. Okay, I'll start, leave a lot on this side, and then do a square knot, wrap it around the back side, square knot. This is just what I do, you know, there's no science on doing these knots. And then 3 square knots. Then we're essentially just raveling to make this handle. And as you do this, all these branches are going to come together. And then I'll wind this up so you pretty much have no visual of the branches. So I'm doing it this way because if I do it this way, sometimes my string will get caught on this backside or the end, which sucks. And do you have to do it this much? No, I don't know. I mean, whatever is a hold for your thing, but you don't want to make sure that this never comes apart when you're doing this process or whatever in the banya or sauna. So that's enough, and then now I'll just go on the end, and I'm wrapping it in between these little branches. Just 'cause I don't feel like, you know, whatever, tying it off on the ends. And this will hold because these little branches are tight in here. And now we're back to where we were before. Okay, so I'll put a little tension on that. And then I'll test it to make sure we don't have anything falling out. And then just so it's not super long, I'm gonna trim this. I don't know if, you know, people necessarily do this. You want to have the whisk end of the tips, but that will always come back again when you wet this. Plus, if you're drying these all in the same area, you want to keep it uniform. But so that's it. Voila, that is number 5. So I have all this birch and a few more oak. So I'm going to keep going. If, as a general rule, if somebody's wanting to use these during every sauna experience and you're going to be doing it weekly, let's say from November through April, you need a couple dozen of these. So you definitely don't want to pay 25 bucks times 25, but if you're doing it once on a special occasion, maybe you do. So if I get enough of these, maybe I will list them for sale. But for now, we're going to be hanging these and keeping them for our own use in our backyard sauna. Ciao.